Thank you. I'm really glad to be here. Startup Day is our good friend, and we always take part of this event, and it's glad to be on the stage finally. But today, I'm not going to tell you a fairy tale, but I'm going to tell you a story. But first, my name is Kristel Leif. Yeah, CEO sounds fancy. Actually, I'm just trying to keep all these young, bright minds together that we have in Solaride. And I'm not an engineer. I have a degree in history. I have studied organizational behavior, and my background is 10 years at Swedbank, mostly working with sales and marketing topics. And 2.5 years ago, I knew nothing about engineering. I knew nothing about sustainable energy. I knew nothing about different problems that we need to solve in our educational system. And I even knew nothing about cars, like how does one work? I don't know. But yet here I am, together with almost 100 bright minds. Some of them are here. Fan club, yeah. Building a solar-powered car, an actual car powered by solar. That's how solar cars work. And at the same time, we are building the new way of learning, Solaride Academy, the platform where different type of young talents can learn how real life actually works. But before I talk about Solaride, or to talk about Solaride, I have to tell you about Kusti and Mari. So this is Kusti. He's an engineer, and he was one of the very first engineering students who joined our team in the beginning of 2020 when we first started to develop the whole project. Kusti is like, for me, when I first met him, he's a stereotypical engineer. At least that's what I thought. Really rational, doesn't speak much, doesn't have too many emotions, not really good with social skills. And that's how you think about engineers. And Kusti came to Solaride to build the car, to develop one, to build one, and to race with it, because that's what engineers do. At least that's what he thought when he came here. Because quite soon, Kusti had to sit on different big sofas, sometimes not so pink, and to give interviews, to talk about not only the technical side of the solar car, but about why. Why do we need a solar car project in the middle of COVID crisis? Why should anyone give us money for that? €500,000 was the budget last season. We need to gather all that in the middle of COVID crisis. Kusti didn't enjoy it at first place, but look at him here. I think he did. We needed to convince him to give all these countless interviews, different microphones, different cameras, journalists all over the place, Kusti always giving interviews. So he had to come out of his comfort zone, this rational, stereotypical engineer. And thanks to Kusti, who didn't always enjoy giving all these interviews, I think we are here today. We have such a big team, we have so bright community, and we have actually finished the solar car. But that's not it. He had to become a salesman. He had to sit at the same table with different CEOs, CTOs, CMOs, and explain them why should they give us money in the middle of COVID crisis. He doesn't speak much, but when he does, it's great content. And look at these sponsors. He knows now how to make our potential sponsors and the sponsor we have smile, because he knows why are we doing this, what we are doing. It's not only about the car, but it's about the why. And he also became the lead of mechanics team. He had to deal with different problems when it comes to people. He had to put together his own team. He had to take care of them and make them deliver. He had to spend countless hours to explain how does one solar car work, even though he didn't know it by himself as well, because nobody had ever built one in Estonia. He had to explain engineering to different students we had from different other disciplines, For example, this is Anita from our HR team. But in the end of our season last year, like all had to come together to finish this car. Marketing people, HR people, finance, everybody was in the garage, and our engineers had to teach them how to build this solar car. And also, he had to weld and had to listen to some mentors, sometimes not listen to them. And if you think about like the whole process, like his journey, becoming like, I wouldn't say that now he's like different man and so social and enjoys all these things. But what Kusti learned is how one organization works. And when you think about hiring or what kind of people do you search, then you search people who are, yes, very good specialists on their own field, but they need to understand your organization. They need to understand how different parts of your company come together, and they have to work together as a team. But it's often really hard. Yes, I talked so much about Kusti. I'm a really big fan of him. But now let's talk about Mari. Mari was also our team member last year and still is one. She's a French philologist in our solar car team. At first, again, we didn't know what to do with her, like what kind of skills do you have? But actually, when we went to Morocco, then it was quite useful that she was able to speak French, because that's what they speak there. But Mari was part of our logistics team. French philologist, started to search her place. But as we didn't have much to do at logistics, because the Australian World Championships where we planned to go was cancelled because of COVID, she had nothing to do. But Mari is very hardworking, dedicated. She never gives up, and this is who Solariders are. She went to search for other opportunities. She helped us with marketing, organized different events, to create social media content, although she didn't know how to do it. She helped the HR team to take care of our people. But when the true potential came out of that French philologist was when we needed to move to the garage. Again, finance person, HR, and logistic or French philologist, if you like. They had to all go there and start they had to go to the garage and produce the body molds and the body panels for the solar car. Again, they didn't know how to do it, but they weren't scared of making their hands dirty. They went there day by day through all the summer last year, all the team members together, and they learned how to do it. And quite fast, Mari became the right hand for Germes, who was the engineering side manager for this process. But Mari, the French philologist, started to organize the work of engineers and did it by herself as well. And after that, nothing was impossible for Mari. She was always there, although she lives in Tallinn and our main garage was in Tartu. She was always there, doing whatever was needed, not afraid of any kind of difficulties. And it wasn't always easy. Luckily, these are tears of happiness. This photo is taken when our team came back from Morocco. And you finally felt that 2 years, so many different hard situations, so many crises, so many conflicts, so many moments when you felt that it's impossible to move forward. But we were there, and we were the only team that managed to go to Morocco to actually race during the COVID crisis. Well, not the only team, there were some others, but from the different class, but we couldn't race because there was no other team, so we won the first place, basically. Because we didn't give up. Others gave up because it was too hard. It was COVID, there was no money, the competition in Australia was cancelled, so on, so on. People were working from the distance, but we still managed to do it. And both Mari and Kusti were recognized from our team as 10 of the most valuable players of Solaride last season. Because what's in common in these two people, and what's the DNA of a true Solarider, is that we never give up, we work hard, we always find solutions, and we are always eager to learn. Not only the specific field where we work at, but everything else. And this is what Solaride Academy is about. What makes us different is that this is the learning platform for so many different disciplines. You have these philologists, you have these engineers, you have finance, you have, I don't know, I studied history. They all come together and they learn how to work together. Because when you put an engineer and, for example, again, marketing person at the same room, it's quite hard for them to find the same language or to find similar solutions. And this is what we teach at Solaride Academy, how real life works, how relationships work. And we also have quite awesome mentorship program. We have different trainings and workshops. But what's the most important is the real life. And as Tavi Madiberg, one of our supporters, has said, quote, Solaride has one true goal: to develop engineers, designers, scientists, and marketing people for making an impact as founders and the early employees for the next generation of tech companies. We need talent on the battlefield in the fight against climate change. That's pretty much it. But still not it. Because I think most of you are aware that we have a huge problem here in Estonia. We don't have engineers. Although we are a startup country, we have so many unicorns per capita, but most of them are software companies. We don't have these success stories to follow. And I strongly believe that one of the main reasons why young people doesn't go to the university to become an engineer is because they don't have these role models and great examples. They don't have these stories to follow that they have in our software sector. And we need to start telling these stories. And I strongly believe that Solaride is one of these stories. We have a technical challenge that we need to solve. Well, to build a car with only 2 years. We have these difficult situations. If you think about Ott Tänak, his journey into the World Championships, when he actually became the champion, how many different situations was before that? And this is what people want to follow. And we are talking about the generation that loves to listen to stories. They have to have conflicts. They have to have these characters. They have to have these role models to follow. And we have all that. We have awesome people who you want to be with. We have difficult situations. We have drama. This is the actual footage from the competition in Australia. These are the risks that we are taking. Actually, this is our motor controller that burst into flames. In Morocco, luckily, nothing like that happened with us. But we have drama. We have adventure that you can visually follow. And if not these people, if not these young people aren't the role models and influencers for the future engineers, then I don't know who is. So this is the other mission for Solaride. We're not only going to race in Australia because it's fun or challenging or whatever, but this is also part of the story. This is a challenging story that everybody can follow. Okay, I'm repeating already myself. But yeah, 3,000 kilometers through the deserts of Australia, competing with top universities all over the world. And we're going to go there to win. We're going to go there to win because, is there any other attitude, what to take? No, at least we don't. But we have to compete with other teams, for example, Team Bochum. I don't know who they are, but I think they're good because they have sponsors. These are their sponsors, and these are their sponsors. And if we were talking about that, we have €500,000 for budget, then some people were, oh my God, students with €500,000, what are you doing with it? How are you like spending it? Like these teams have budgets of 5, 7, 10, 15 million euros. They have strong automotive companies behind their back. But we are also strong. We have really, really strong community. We have public sector, we have private sector, we have private persons, but most importantly, we have people who really believe in us. So it's not about the logos or not about giving us money or their products, but it's about the support that we get from these people. But still, I'm not ashamed to say I'm here. One of my reasons to be here is to find new sponsors, find new mentors, and find new Solariders. So to repeat myself once more, let's quote Martin Willig, one of our first sponsors. The Solaride Academy inspires young people and is a starting platform for a new generation of engineers, inventors, entrepreneurs, and world changers. If you want to become one, if you want to help us to create these people or help them grow to become these world changers, future leaders, future talents in your tech companies, then join our community. Because together with our President of Estonia, Alar Karis, we invite you all to join us. Hit me up. Our car is actually visible there. You can see it with your own eyes, really rare possibility. And let us know if you have questions, if you want to help us somehow, if you want to hop in, we are really open for it. Thank you. Now we have 25 seconds for questions if anybody has one. No,
Here I am once again. I have two questions actually. So, how did you get Alar Karis to make a picture of you? Did you bribe him, or what did you do?
No, he's one of our fans. Like actually, this picture is taken last May, and at the same time when President was at our event, he was like signing the documents to the government was falling. He had to sign the documents that the ministries should go away, but he wasn't leaving, and he told us that I'm not going anywhere because what you do matters to me, and here I am doing it.
Well, you told a fairy tale-ish story about Kusti. I want to know, how do you groom new Kustis in Solaride Academy? Like, what is the most important part of actually making new Kusti?
Interdisciplinary approach and the diversity is the key, that you actually need to put these people together to learn from each other and to learn through the really practical real-life problems. So it's not about only marketing or engineering, but how one organization works.
Thank you, Kristel. Let's give one round of applause to Kristel again.